A very a very good morning to all of you. Myself Milind Pawar. I am working as an assistant professor of geography in K.K.Wagh Education Societies, K.K.Wagh Arts, Commerce, Science and Computer Science College, Kakasahebnagar, Ranwad, Taluka Nifad, District Nashik. So I have completed my basic qualification for this post. I have passed NET and SET examinations, and according to Pune University or the syllabus designed by them for the class of FY BSc first, which is geomorphology, and in which we are going to see about the various in plate tectonics chapter we are going to see the various types of plates. There are generally various type of plates and the plate boundaries. There are generally three types of plate boundaries. One is convergent, another one is divergent, and next one is transform plate boundaries. So friends, as we know that in my previous lecture I have already explained you that how the plates used to move on the weak asthenosphere, and the earth crust is made up of several plates which are moving away from each other, or they moving towards each other, or they get slide past. So today in this topic we are going to discuss about the what geological features they used to form around them or in the vicinity of such kind of plates. So the earth's lithosphere, which includes the crust and upper mantle, is made up of series of pieces or tectonic plates. It means they are in pieces, which are also known as tectonic plates, that move slowly over time. According to time they used to move. A divergent boundary. Divergent means when the two parts of a plate, one is moving away from each other. A divergent boundary occurs when two tectonic plates move away from each other. Along these boundaries, earthquakes are common, and magma, which is a form of molten rock. It means when rock get melt down, then it transforms into a magma, and when this magma upwells or spread over the earth's surface, then it is called as lava. Okay, so it rises means magma rises from the earth's mantle to the surface. It means the source region of magma is mantle, the surface, solidifying to create new oceanic crust. When two plates come together, it is known as convergent boundaries. And the divergent boundary example is, if one can see the floor of Atlantic Ocean, he can easily understood that what is meant by divergent boundary and how oceanic crust is formed. So the impact of the colliding plates can cause the edges of one or both plates to buckle up into a mountain ranges, or one of the plates may bend down into a deep sea floor trench. It means when two plates collide or there is a convergent boundary is there, at that time there is a formation of mountains. Mountain formation is take place at that region, and also from away from the seashore there is a formation of trenches, okay, where one plate is going to subduct under another plate. If it is depend the subduction is depend on the thickness of those plates. So a chain of volcanoes often forms parallel to convergent plate boundaries, and powerful earthquakes are common along these boundaries. So next to this is plate boundaries. Oceanic crust is often forced down into the mantle, where it begins to melt. Magma rises into and through the other plate, solidifying into granite, the rock that makes up the continents. Thus at convergent boundaries, continental crust is created and oceanic crust is destroyed. means because of its oceanic crust thickness is less comparative to the continental crust, and so it doesn't get any chance to override on the continental crust, and hence it get subducted and destructed, it get melt down underneath into the deep within the earth. So two plates sliding past each other forms a transform plate boundary. Natural or human made structures that cross a transform boundary are offset, split into pieces and carried in opposite directions. It means if one can build a house on the transform boundary, then after some time he came to know that his house will get there is a destruction. There is, of course, there is a destruction. Or if you construct a wall onto the transform boundary, then you came to know that it will definitely get away from each other, or it get break down. So rocks that line the boundary are pulverized as the plates grind along, creating a linear fault valley or undersea canyon. Earthquakes are common along these faults. In contrast to convergent and divergent boundaries, crust is cracked and broken at transform margins, but is not created or destroyed. It means at the base of transform boundaries there is no creation and no destruction of crust or the oceanic floor, and hence these boundaries are not constructive or destructive, as like the convergent boundaries, they are convergent boundaries, divergent boundaries are not destructive, and the convergent boundaries are destructive, but they are creative also, because they create volcanoes, they also create arc of islands, mountains. So next to this, okay, let's look at this image, that what we have discussed in previous part. We came to know that how it exactly look like. If you see that the orange part is asthenosphere, which is semi-plastic in nature, where you can see a hot spot or a plume where shield volcano is you can see into the ocean. Okay, so over this asthenosphere, which is semi-plastic or weak in nature, the lithospheric slabs used to move and they form various plate boundaries. Okay, so in the continental part, where you can see there is a formation of near on the continental crust or near the seashore, you can see there is a formation of mountains, and the volcanic eruption is also one can able to see there. So a continental rift zone is also there, where there is a convergent. In the upper part of the image we can easily see the convergent plate boundary image, where the arrows show that the two plates are moving towards each other, and in second part you can see that there are the arrows which are away from each other. It means the plates are moving away from each other over an weak asthenosphere. So convergent plate boundaries where there is a trench, okay, and trench are because of trench. Why there is a trench formation? Because the oceanic floor is subducting under the crustal part, and hence it is get melt down there, and volcanic eruption is occur on the continental part. And in the second, there is a oceanic spreading ridge. I have already given you a example that if you can carefully see the oceanic floor of the Atlantic Ocean, then you came to know that there is a sea floor spreading occurring there, and there are some ridges also. So in third part, in the top of the image, there is a transform fault or transform plate margins, where there is no destruction and no creation of any kind of features, and away into the deep into the ocean you can able to see that there is a again convergent plate boundary, where island arc is formed, and also there is a volcano you can easily see, which is strato volcano. By this way one can draw an image or draw a diagram of these boundaries. So next to this is Earth's outer crust. The lithosphere is composed of a series of tectonic plates that move on a hot flowing mantle layer called the asthenosphere. Heat within the asthenosphere creates convection currents that cause tectonic plates to move several centimeters per year. It means per year these plates doesn't move in kilometers or in meters, but they move in centimeters. But after a long time or after a long period, there is a stress accumulated at their boundary part, and hence destruction is occurs. So per year relative to each other, when two tectonic plates meet, we get a plate boundary. There are three major types of plate boundaries, each associated with the formation of a variety of geologic features. If two tectonic plates collide, they form a convergent plate boundary. Usually one of the converging plates will move beneath the other, a process known as subduction. Deep trenches are features often formed where tectonic plates are being subducted, and earthquakes are common as the sinking plate moves deeper into the mantle. Fluids are released from the rock, causing the overlying mantle to partially melt. So next, the new magma. Molten rock rises and may erupt violently to form volcanoes, often building arcs of islands along the convergent boundary. Arcs of islands only form into the deep oceans. Okay, and why it is why get formed? Because of the convergent boundaries, and there is a formation of trenches. They are also formed near to the seashores. So when two plates are moving away from each other, we call this a divergent plate boundary. Along these boundaries, magma rises from deep within the earth and erupts to form new crust on the lithosphere. Most divergent plate boundaries are underwater and form submarine mountain ranges called oceanic spreading ridges. While the process of forming these mountain ranges is volcanoes and earthquakes along oceanic spreading ridges are not as violent as they are at the convergent plate boundaries. It means where there is a divergent plate boundaries, there the volcanoes having not that much intensive as compared to the volcanoes which are formed where there is a convergent plate boundaries. So this is the vortex, which is also a phenomenon which is included into geography. The third type of plate boundary occurs where tectonic plates slide horizontally past each other. This is known as transform plate boundary. As the plates rub against each other, huge stresses can cause portions of the rock to break, resulting in earthquakes. Places where these breaks occur are called faults. As well-known example of transform plate boundary is the San Andreas Fault in California, which is located into the USA, United States of America, and hence we came to know that the convergent and divergent plate boundaries and the transform plate boundaries are the three types of plate boundaries where one is destructive, one is constructive, and another one is not constructive also and not destructive also. So by this way we have learned, or we have seen the three types of plate boundaries and the resulting geological features which are formed due to these plate boundaries. So I hope you have got all these things. You must have to go through this and try to study hard so you can get good marks. This is my small effort towards your goal. So I hope you like my video. So subscribe and wait to watch my upcoming videos. Till then, thank you.